To the Beaver Dam. We're not going to do any intro today just because, I don't have a ton of time tonight, and yeah, I want to get through this as fast as we can. Trying to get through all of our different fun stuff, trying to get through all of our dailies. This is one of our streams to try and get Twitch all of the perks that you YouTube members enjoy. So, we are on our way. We have quite a few streams so far under our belts. I'm kind of curious how many we've gone through so far. Here, let me check real quick. Let's take a look and see how much we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Also, a big welcome to each and every one of you. Yes, we are going to spend some energy. I did buy the $20 bundle just for fun, and we're going to get some Zetas. I didn't save up a ton because I don't like saving up, honestly. I think taking away from your overall farms, especially when it comes to regular energy, is really rough, because even if you're like to use the argument of, oh hey, you're not going to lose out on that much, the energy and the overall perks are going to be better, you're also losing out on shards. And so I really prefer pushing those shards and getting those shards, because you can't really make up for days without refreshing. Anyways, let's take a look at this. Live. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 days into our streaming every day. So yeah, that's 12 days of streaming every day, and that means we only have 20 more days until we are all ready to go for Twitch. Welcome everyone. Good to see you, AJ. Good to see you, Death Destroyer of Worlds. Let's see how these look. Honestly, a lot of people have been saying that they're underwhelming for the drop rates, which I mean, honestly, with the time before we got a ton. And the time before that we got a ton, and this last time the drop rates were kind of meh, so I was kind of expecting some poor drop rates on this one, sadly. But yeah, let's start spending and seeing where we go, just to make sure we did hit. Yeah, it is a new day, we have our dailies ready to go, and let's start spending. Okay. By far the trilogy rate was Omegas. I don't know, my Zetas are not impressing me right now. There's some Zetas. That's what I like to see. Regardless, I'm just glad I am getting Zetas, because like I needed this energy anyways. Or I needed to, get these the signal data anyways, and so the fact that I get Zetas as well is very nice. Yeah, dang, I am not having good RNG with these Zetas, bro. Nice, Death Destroyer of Worlds. You're farming Morganelle's best shards? Yeah, I'm looking to try and finish up the hardest of my signal data for Ahsoka Tano, essentially. Yeah, gosh, those were terrible drop rates, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I basically got one full Zeta. Like, that is awful. For 1,500 energy? Hey, Wep, welcome. Like, it wasn't awful, but it also wasn't, like, super good either. At least we're gonna get Seer up. Where are the Chirotechs? Are they as low as 7? There's Chirotechs. Let's do our daily shard farming real quick. Got 9 Zeta mats? Dude, that is awful, Wep. I'm sorry, my friend. Yeah, not worth the 200 crystal refreshes. I think you're correct. I think I'm going to do the 100 crystal refreshes from here on out to the rest of the event. Which, I mean, was already what I was doing just because of the fact that I'm working on Ahsoka, and so I kind of needed the signal data real bad. You're not a character I'm working on, but you are. I mean, solid drops on Seer so far. See how many we get on Seer overall. We're at 31 currently. I mean, the Seer seems to be a much higher drop rate. Much higher drop rate. Holy crap. Am I going to finish Seer today? Zetas, we got about 20 and 1,500 energy Lion's Den, so nothing too crazy. Yeah, I feel like this is almost a catch-up mechanic for for the characters versus actually being helpful for the people who are looking to, you know, get the Zetas and that type of thing. How are we doing on these? Okay, we could use some more of these. It starts not necessarily midnight, it starts whenever you hit your refresh. I set my refresh to be 9 p.m. my time. So whenever your refresh is, that is like whenever your daily challenges refresh, that's when it happens for you. So it's not necessarily midnight because you can change your time zone twice a year. Which I typically do when I go around, you know, daylight savings, just to make sure it's always the same time. Yeah, I got a lot more Seer shards than I've gotten anything else. Do ships drop anything right now? Okay, yeah, ships drop something. And I need a butt ton of these, so let's start farming. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it gave me like an extra like 35 shards for Seer. I'll take that. Honestly, these ones seem like they're dropping more often. Which is sad, because these are the ones I need less of. Okay, there's all our energy for the day. Yeah, it's not great, chicken. Unfortunately, it's looking like some pretty bad drop rates for this. I think mine was close to 1.75, maybe 2% drop rate on Zetas. Did I bring a rocket to the end? What are you talking about, Burrito? Very nice, Yotter. I don't know anything about newer Minecraft. I have no idea what an elytra is. I am an old soul when it comes to Minecraft. I have not played it recently whatsoever. Ah, we fly now. I see. But yeah, I gotta hurry and do my dailies because I have I'm gonna be playing Skyrim co-op today, and so I need to set that up and everything. Let's celebrate this terrible drop rates and go to Denny's. Until as I said before, until I find a job here, I'm not gonna be able to do another Denny's trip. I am very poor because I'm living off of YouTube, and YouTube does not cut it, my friends. Gosh dang it, let me kill you. Well, yeah, this is a wash. We can pay for your Denny's trip. Yeah, you can pay for my Denny's trip, except that any money that I make from YouTube, I don't get until the following month. So it doesn't really help me. Like, yeah, it's helpful next month, but I have to wait a month. On territory war team splits for 7 million accounts. I don't know who to go to for territory war information. That's an excellent question. I think What's His Bucket does a lot of territory war. You guys know What's His Bucket, right? Vancelle, I think his name is. V-A-N-C-E-L-E, I think. But yeah, I'm not, I just build for a Grand Arena, and then I utilize those in Territory Wars, because I don't think, you know, pushing for Territory Wars is necessarily the best idea if you're trying to be efficient. It's fun, it's just not what it is. What kind of job am I looking for? Honestly, kind of anything at this point. I'm eventually want to get into IT, but I'm still not done with my IT certification, and so until I finish that, I'm not going to try and like apply to IT jobs. So right now, I just need to find a job, and then I'm good. So Vancelle doesn't like Grand Arena. Dude, he still has not applied any of Bane's Omicrons, and he puts Bane on defense. He's not a GAC player. Vancelle. The Zeta drops were not great, Madness. Thanks, Gelgoog. Just to work at Denny's and we can stream all night? Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go work at a fast food restaurant. Is that everything for this account? Denny's is fine dining. I disagree heavily. But it's not so much about the fact that it's fine dining or not, it's whether it pays good. I need to be able to support myself. Denny's is the grumpiest waitresses. I haven't run into that too much, honestly. We've had some pretty good luck when it comes to that. Any events that I need to do? I have a super secret project that I'm working on, guys, and you shall see the fruits of it in the next couple of days. I'm very excited. I'm trying to pioneer a new counter that I just came up with, because I'm big brain. Have I considered working for CG and upping the drop rates for Zetas? It would be fun to do anything in the Star Wars kind of stuff. A dream job would be being one of the guys. It's the Lucasfilm storyboard group. I can't remember like the exact name for them. If that's it, but it's the group of guys who basically makes sure canon is being followed, and gets called in to like go out to places like Respawn and help them with the storyline with Jedi Fallen Order and things like that. Like I would love to be part of that group. That is like peak dream job for me. 1050 energy, got 9 Zetas. Not awful, not great either, Vegeta. You'll be the only one in the group that the way that Disney is going. Dude, the group is actually full of a lot of people who are from like way back when, like pre Disney taking over and everything. They're still around and everything. It's just not always do they get listened to is the problem. Where could you apply for that kind of job? Oh, I'm sure it's not one of those jobs you apply for. It's fully like a 100% going to be a networking kind of thing. I don't think that's ever possible, Matthew Stretch. I think making Starkiller canon is going to break things, and if you don't break things, you're not going to live up to what people expect out of Starkiller, and so ultimately it'll be a self-defeating idea. You're either going to have the fans pissed at you because you're not living up to who Starkiller should be, or you're going to make Starkiller who he is, and you're going to break the entire power scaling of Star Wars. Force Unleashed has always been one of those ones where it's like, it's a cool idea, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of the Star Wars, and so inherently this has to be kind of, separate and not really canon, regardless. So, it's unfortunate, but I think it's something that, it was like the Transformers of Star Wars, where they're like, we want to make a really cool spectacle, and I was like, I loved every moment of it, thank you for that spectacle. Do I think it can really fit in the Star Wars universe? Not really, sadly. Hey, Ari, welcome. I know, but that's what's so fun. Which, I mean, I think that there's tons of grounds for a Star Wars What If series that's not Visions, because Visions was not great. I think that Star Wars Visions was another example of that. Kathleen Kennedy's overall, what's the word I'm looking for? Kathleen Kennedy's overall vision of Star Wars is inherently flawed. I'm not saying she has anything to do with Visions. Obviously, Visions is done by each of the companies, but that's the problem. It's her overall philosophy when it comes to Star Wars is that you leave the creators to do what you want them to do, and you give them loose guidelines, and then from there they have creative liberty and creative freedom. That's what happened with 7, 8, and 9, and because of that, we get these disjointed movies that don't fit together and like feel just hard turns left and right, and trying to retcon all kinds of stuff because it's people left up to be doing things with their own creative liberty. I think there needs to be a planet. There needs to be someone in charge. There's a reason that George Lucas that worked with him was because he was a guy in charge. Now, was he the best guy in charge? He made Star Wars great, but he also had no respect for the fan base, and I don't like that overall. I think you need to find someone that's in a good medium spot, someone who's a Star Wars fan, but also recognizes that things need to grow, mature, become their own. That way they're balancing the fan base and making new things. And I think Dave Filoni has his problems at times, but I think he's the best candidate we've seen for this type of thing. But overall, like Visions, I think Visions could have been great if they gave them a little bit more direction with each of them. But instead, they were like, go crazy, make whatever you want. So we ended up with some episodes that were just really, really bad. And then we ended up with some episodes of people who were just like, yeah, I understand kind of the essence of Star Wars, and I'm going to give it my best go. And it was amazing. There's several episodes of Visions where I was like, this is really good. And there's one episode where I'd be like, I took 8 seasons of this. I would watch this show all the way through. Why is this not a show? And so I think the creative direction needs to be there, essentially. Gelgu, the problem is extended universe to like keep it canon with the way that Disney wanted to do things. To keep extended universe canon, it would have been like a toddler walking up to your shoe and not knowing how to tie your shoe and tying the shoe for you, and then you look down and you have to figure out how to untangle all of the knots. But they think they did a perfect job, because the extended universe was a nightmare of just awful things and great things all intermixed with all of these converging lines and things that connect, and a lot of them didn't make sense. And so to try to unspool and untangle all of these converging points would be so hard to do. And so the best they could do is make them legends. And so I honestly think it's not a bad plan. It was upsetting when it happened. I remember being very upset, but like I can understand why. As an adult, I can understand why they did it, and I honestly agree with them in a lot of cases. So the Mortis, are you talking about Mortis, not Morris, Matthew? I'm guessing that's supposed to be Mortis. Keep in mind, the whole Mortis gods exists out of space and time for the reason that it was too powerful of a scale. Like they had to be like, oh yeah, this is outside of space and time, so nothing can influence this, because, you know, it would have broken the power scale as well. Like, I think that Dave Filoni, as much as I like the Mortis God stuff in the World Between Worlds, I think he's skating a very fine line of diving into some of the problems with Marvel, as well as, you know, he's skating a fine line of trying to be like, I want to have some fun, but I need to keep it in a box. Oh yeah, I definitely think there's more to salvage, and that's one of my favorite things about Dave Filoni, is if he has something in his mind, he's like, I want to do this, but then there's also this thing from old canon that would fit right there that would be cool. I'm going to, you know, take that old canon thing and bring it in. I think he's really good at doing that, and so it's super, super nice. Let Filoni run the show and he'll guide Star Wars towards where George wanted to go. I don't want where George wanted to go. George wanted to sit on his butt and make money, and that's essentially it. Sure. I think JJ should have made all 3 sequels. I think either director should have made all 3 sequels. I think that either way it could have been good. Like if we had started episode 7 with the kind of curveball stuff of Rian Johnson and kind of breaking away from the tradition of Star Wars and making a new thing, I think it could have been great. I think that if J.J. Abrams was to continue through all 3, it could have also been great. I think there was merits on both sides, but the yanking fest between the two just didn't make sense, and it made it really, really bad. Matthew. Starkiller beats Vader. Starkiller beats the Chosen One. That immediately breaks down like the entire point of everything. If Anakin can do this, then we should have a character more powerful than Anakin in the canon. No. 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 Yes, Clone Wars is considered widely canon, including it's considered alpha canon by George Lucas, I believe, which was basically, doesn't matter what happens, this is canon, which is what all the movies were. No one had, yeah. I mean, in the original trilogy, we still had an overarching someone in control, and Kathleen Kennedy is not that person. You know, she was very hands off, hands free. You guys can have creative liberty. I think we'll get up to 12 GLs, chicken. Months behind, you're months behind. We already got our drops, essentially. Now we're doing our other 2 accounts. We're confining all Star Wars canon to Anakin's abilities. Essentially, yes, he is the chosen one. That was the entire point of episode 1 through 6, is that he is the chosen one. He is the only one that would be able to bring down the 2 gods, the 2 Mortis gods. That was kind of the point. Yeah, Starkiller kills Ben, Starkiller kills Luke. Like, Starkiller just does everything. It's literally like the whole idea of, but can they solo Goku kind of thing, is essentially the point of Starkiller. Is like, it's the same idea as the Deadpool comic where, you know, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe or Batman kills the Marvel Universe. It's like, okay, as a fun idea and fun thing to read, I guess. Why only 12? I don't know. It's just an arbitrary number I chose offhand. I'm more worried about them running out of ideas before they, like, unless Star Wars itself picks up a little bit more with, like, what's coming out. I think we're gonna run out of, like, people to make GLs before it gets to a point where people are like, I don't think this person should be a GL. I don't know why you're choosing them as a GL. Hey, Trey. About level 90? Yeah, Ari, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's the same thing that hold on.
Interesting things before some Imperial things we gotta talk about. Become the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, as you probably well remember if you were back then. We're gonna talk about her here and coming with you.
Where is it?
Thematically, it seemed kind of. When this. The conversion of Relic 10 showed up for the first time here. There you go. So when you open up a character and they have a relic level, for a very brief second, you'll see this 10 show up here. And let's be honest, it was really a matter of time.
This has been something that's been happening forever. Oh, there's a glitch in the game that shows that there's a level 90. It's going to happen soon. Oh, there's a glitch in the game where it shows there's going to be a Relic 10. It's going to happen soon. It'll come if CG's ready for it. Level 80 to 85 to 90 doesn't make sense whatsoever. Relic 10 does make sense, and I do think eventually they'll up it to Relic 10, especially considering all of the Relic level stuff they've been putting in the game in the last year. Like, every single kit has something in it, like a GL, where it's like, oh, for every Relic amplifier level, you get this. I think Relic 10's much more likely. Relic, you know, level 85 to 90 does not do anything to the character. It's just going to be a drain on credits, and that's it. And then all of a sudden it's going to have to, like, devalue all of your characters, because then every character can get to level, get to relic level at level 85. That doesn't make sense. So are they going to make us all retroactively remove our relics like they did with Mace Windu and then reapply our relics? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So no, I don't think that's going to happen, guys. Yeah, actually, Xteen's always been one I've wanted to meet at con. To be fair, I've never been to a con, though. This weekend's my first con I'll ever be to. Maybe my last. Maybe I'll die. Yeah, we have levels of... we have progression that far exceed the level cap increase at 100% agreed. Galactic War... On any speculation on other types of units instead of GLs, I don't think we'll get anything more. I think having the GLs at the top of the game is the only reason this game has gone on as long as it has, because it stabilized the meta. I don't think we'll get characters above GL chicken. I think it would break the game and the overall structure of the game. I do think we'll continue to get GLs, and we'll continue to get teams, and we'll continue to get lifters. I don't think we'll ever get anything above a GL. I think we're going to get more epic confrontations going forward. It looks like they're going that direction. I'm just saying, Trash Compactor, the book that explains why things happen in episode 9 is absolutely atrocious. I've tried reading it 3 times and I cannot get through it. It's so bad, and like the things they're pulling from are so tenuous and just I hate it so much. Episode 9 shouldn't have happened. Okay, is that everything on this account? Yep. Okay, sweet. And do we have any events? No events for this account. Have we already done this? We haven't. How long do I have to have? A day? Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, on to our third account. Look, it looks like a good game because boobies. Don't you love modern ads? Draining our credits is not another revenue stream, Yotter, because credits are not a resource that you can whale for like at all, and to whale for them is very, very stupid. The exchange rate is terrible, so no one ever does it. Hey, Dragna. Hey, Caleb Zweiger. That got dark real quick. Hey, I mean, you never know. Maybe I go to this convention and, you know, I get throttled by Anthony Daniels. Hey, if he's that old and he can throttle me, I think he deserves to kill me and get away with it. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I think this account doesn't have it anywhere near the cap. I think it's all the other accounts that I have that are near the cap. What about a super duper GL? Marvel Strike Force tried that and it failed miserably because then they just kept adding more power creep. I think we'll have a ship next year and then we'll have GL Thrawn the year after, or perhaps at the end of the year like this. I think the beginning of this next year we're going to see a GL ship, so we might get both. We'll see. I'm kind of curious what they're doing. If episode 9 didn't happen, how would we know that they fly now? Oh, that's good, Everin. That's good. Yeah, isn't that great that they announced Palpatine's return in Fortnite? So then I went into episode 9 being like, what the F is happening? Why is this in the opening crawl? Why is there no, like, hunt to find the truth? Like, this is just all of a sudden it's already here. They spent the first half of the movie just like trying to pretend that there was a storyline and trying to retcon every single thing that happened in episode 8. Just alt-tabbed when you said boobies. Sounds good, Trey Trey. You have a great night. You go hit the hey hey. He was there for the live event. Hey Draco, welcome. Have a good night. Oh no, Wep, you're staying. It's Trey Trey going to bed. Okay, it confused me seeing that. Okay, have a great night, Trey Trey. Fix the super GLMS, or could they not fix the? Oh no, it's just continually going on. It just, like, there's no such thing as a starter guide in Marvel Strike Force because old stuff is no longer viable, and so you just go for whatever's the new thing over and over again, and that is the entirety of Marvel Strike Force. That's why I quit. That and their streak system is rough. It was fun for new players. Like, honestly, the new player experience, I actually really enjoyed the new player experience of Marvel Strike Force, much more than Galaxy of Heroes, actually. Dang, bro. There's some solid drop rates right there. I think Galaxy of Heroes still needs some editing to the new player experience. Intergalactic Legend. Yes, and that's it, Madness. That's exactly what happened, is they ran out of ideas, and they were like, I refuse to follow what Rian Johnson did. We have to do something different. We cannot make Kylo Ren the bad guy. We need to make a movie where we can redeem Kylo Ren. How do we do this? I've got no ideas. Let's go and get George Lucas. And George Lucas is like, wow, you guys are screwed. Well, here's the best I got if you have these non-negotiables that you're going for. And thus we have episode 9. Imagine an old Lando pulling a holo maneuver. Oh, what do you mean, Yotter? In episode 9? No, because here's the problem, Everin. Some people might have forgiven him after that, but most people wouldn't, because he killed one of the most beloved Star Wars characters in all of Star Wars. And so they needed some way to make it feel real. Because going, oops, my bad, I not only killed my father, but also one of the most beloved Star Wars characters. I'm sorry, guys, let me just help you fight the bad guy, is not going to feel redemptive enough. I think the way they pulled it off is the only way they could have pulled off a redemption for Kylo Ren. I just don't think they should have redeemed him at all. I think it's dumb. I think they should have kept him being evil. He should have been the big bad of episode 9. You know, gone too far, been too far gone. Because, you know, then you actually have a bad guy for episode 9 instead of having to make up a new one that none of us care about and all of us are upset about, and making up these Knights of Ren who we see for like 2 minutes of the whole movie and no one cares. Like, they pushed so hard to do garbage. Like, why don't we have a vet Lando in the game? Excellent question, because no one liked episode 9. Why are we probably not going to get you know, characters from the Acolyte. Why did CG specifically announce that Boba Fett Scion of Django is the version of Boba Fett from The Mandalorian Season 2 and not the version from the Book of Boba Fett, and yet we never got another version of Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett? When things aren't popular, they don't sell. When they don't sell, it's not worth putting in the game. So... grow more and more to the dark side. That is literally what episode 8, like, what happens is that he's teetering on that brink still, and then he ends up on the dark side. Like, episode 9 was just retcon BS. Like, they weren't actually trying to do anything besides make sure that they spat in episode 8's face as much as possible. Yeah, Hux being a mole was stupid, especially with him being the best frickin' actor in those movies. I feel like he did such a good job in episode 7, and they're like, yeah, let's just make him a joke character. Like, you can certainly give him a Darth Vader redemption if you want, as he's like dying or something, but like, I don't think he needed to be redeemed, honestly. I think the Force Dyad thing was so dumb, I'm gonna be honest. Replace Snoke instead of... Yeah, he should have been the replacement for Snoke, because he finally, like, made his decision. Because, like, even after the whole thing with Han, you know, throughout episode 8, you can see him still struggling with this decision. And so then, like, you know, he essentially becomes that person, and that's who we see at the beginning of episode 9. You could have rolled with that really well, and, you know, made him go find technology. If you wanted to bring in Exegol, which is just great value Droman costs, go ahead and go find great value Droman costs, but use it kind of like Thrawn, where, you know, he went to Mount Tantus, you know, the storehouse of the Emperor that's hidden, and he finds this stuff, and he's trying to bring it against the Resistance. Like, you could have done a lot with it, but instead they just kind of were like, eh. Yeah, bonus drops start as soon as your refreshes hit, and I have my refreshes hit. I have it set to 40 minutes ago. I think that the idea of Luke being unsure of himself actually fits the bill rather well, especially when you consider the older canon and stuff. Like, you look at you know, Luke after episode 6, and he was very unsure of himself on whether or not he could actually teach Luke and Leia's kids, and whether he was actually, like, trained enough to actually take on the responsibility of leading the Jedi. And so I think broken Luke was an interesting idea, and it could have been pulled off well. I feel like it was pulled off poorly, and a lot of that comes down to he was, like, randomly redeemed by some random chick that he doesn't know, and, like, he just kind of dies off, and we don't get to see him do anything, like, you know, you know, do anything really. We just see him kind of exist, and we wanted more out of him. See, I'm actually fine with Han's death. I think Han's death was an excellent tipping point for Kylo Ren, and I think it was a good plot point, and I know that the actor wanted the character to die off. And so, like, I'm fine with Han Solo's death, and I think it fit well enough, because it was an intimate moment. It was a moment that was really emotionally charged. I think they did a great job with the lighting. If you watch the lighting in that scene, there's blue on one side, there's red on the other side, and then as the scene continues and as the Starkiller base sucks in the star, the blue light disappears and it's just red light. And so just from the lighting, you can tell what decision Kylo Ren's slowly making. And like, I think they did a really good job with that sequence and that scene. And I think it was a good way to make Kylo Ren into a bad guy, because most people watching through episode 7, they're like, this guy's kind of a wuss, he's not doing much. And so they needed a way to be like, ah, yes, let's make him a bad guy. And it was, I thought it worked fairly dang well for that. Yeah, Harrison Ford's been trying to get his character killed off since Empire Strikes Back. Honestly, I think that's game. Patrick McKnight, the drops are based off of your time zone, so you can switch your time zone at any time in your settings. So it just entirely depends on your time zone. So like the people getting it earlier, like Egnards or whatever his name is, he lives in Australia, and so his is much earlier than mine. I just got mine 45 minutes ago because, you know, I have mine set to be right before I go to bed, so I can do my dailies right before bed. When we put Afro on offense, the moment that we have another good team to put on defense, Yoder. Undercover Kylo was great, rule 2. Heck yeah, Herb. Yeah, they're not great Vault. Like we got 20-ish not Chirotech Zetas in about 1500. Revan's Force Ghost. See, the problem is to do something like a Revan's Force Ghost, there'd have to be a reason for Revan to be a Force Ghost. So on top of that, he wasn't really that good to be a Force Ghost. Especially like during SWTOR, he's like his brain is fractured essentially. I agree, Everin. Where I should put my spare Zeta? I mean, I got no idea with your account, Burrito. It entirely depends on where you're going next, because you have Leviathan. Where are you going next? Yeah, I agree. Rule of 2. Free stuff is free stuff, but don't blow your crystal stash. You know, the first 300 refreshes, if you have a little bit of extra crystals, then go for it. I don't think it's worth, you know, dropping 200 sets or 400 sets. You take that back. I mean, we know that Force Ghosts have to have a reason to be around and like have a dedicated purpose. Revan was not prepared. He did not have a purpose. It was just be kind of a throwaway. Let's bring Revan into the canon as a Force Ghost just because we know it'll appease fans. It doesn't really make sense. Put your spare Zetas on Dengar? No, absolutely not. I know tier 2 Leia is bad, but since I'm now 1 rec away from Ticket Farm, how bad is it actually? I've heard it's very RNG dependent. Doesn't matter what guide you look at, it's very RNG dependent. I don't know. I haven't played it myself, but I do plan on trying it out and seeing if I can find a good way to do it, because I do have access to an account that has recently got Leia, so. But Rey is all the Jedi, so she's technically Revan. Yeah, the whole all the Jedi and all the Sith thing I thought was so dumb, and the whole Force Dyad thing also dumb. It's just could go for C as well. Gas is not a great farm in and of itself. You can go for it if you want, but I'd rather you go for characters that are going to connect to things. If you don't have Executor, you can go for Sith Eternal and Executor, and then you'll have a good GL and Executor. You'll have 2 GL ships, and then from there you can head into Profundity and then into the Rebels. That would probably be my choice as to where you would go. Is I would go for the Rebels and Profundity. Just because if you're going to have Leviathan, you might as well go for the triple middle finger. It'll be the fastest way that you can get to Kyber. It's not going to be a pleasant trip, but hey, you started with Leviathan, why not go all the way Burrito Express? So get that triple middle finger in and start working through your Rebel Trinity, you know, JML, Jabba, and Leia. Force Dyad works better as a gameplay mechanic. I agree. Yeah, and I think that if you're going to do a Force Dyad, it needs to be a non-forced link. I think that if you're going to do something like that, you should be doing like you know, not having the whole, oh my gosh, it was Palpatine all along. You want to do something where the Force created a connection between these two people, and you need to figure out why. Like, what could possibly be the purpose? Why did the Force connect these two individuals? Like, yes, there's connections between people. You see it between a master and apprentice quite often. But why these two people? It's weird. It doesn't make sense. They've never met each other. They've never really interacted, but they're connected for some reason. And so that's the type of thing that I was like, it piqued my interest in Rise of Skywalker, and then it was just like, oh, this isn't actually interesting. Got it. Because it's just, oh, Palpatine's behind everything again. Whoa. I cannot wait to get my Profundity just for the sake of being able to triple middle finger, because I have zero problems getting through enemies' defenses. Glad I could help, Volt. I don't know if either side of this actually wins here. Yeah, I would concur with this assessment, Burrito. I get 0% stun. Dang, he's so close. It only took 3 to 5 business years, but we actually got through this fleet. I hate Houndstooth so much. The Relic Darth Vader definitely helps. I started to Relic up my quadmate team, and they're at Relic 7, Relic 7, Relic 8. Super Zeta 4 feels like they're doing nothing in the raid. Any suggestions or tips? Can't even clear the Relic 3 one. I mean, overall in the raid, they're very difficult, Molly. I'm the wrong person to ask. I can ask around and see what I hear, but like honestly, without the Zetas, I think you're gonna struggle. Overall, they kind of struggle in the raid regardless. They're very much one of those RNG teams where it's like you're kind of rolling the dice a couple times till you get a good score. Ruth Vader Ginsburg is saying go to the raid server. Ruth Vader Ginsburg, if you want to send me a invite in my DMs, I can put it into the chat for us. Except the Grievous already has a ship, Burrito. Okay, well, that's basically it for today. I had an hour to do stuff, and we spent an hour doing stuff. Yeah, like they'll still get you a good score, but it's very RNG dependent, very dependent on your modding, that type of stuff. It's one of those, yeah, send it to me in a DM, Ruth Vader Ginsburg, because it automatically deletes anything from people who are trying to put stuff in the chat just because we get a lot of bots, so. On it until I cough up the Luke lead Zeta. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's up to you, Jared Markham. If you're really worried about being able to participate in the punishing one, then I would save your crystals. If you want to do like a couple refreshes on this, it's not going to be a bad thing. Essentially, you look at it as 1 refresh of energy equals 1 Zeta, and so as long as you keep that in mind, you can probably figure out for yourself if you think it's worth it. Is it worth dropping 1 refresh for 1 Zeta? 100 crystals for a Zeta. Is that a good deal to you? It's up to you. When does the ship drop? We don't know, but everyone's theorizing it's soon, and they're trying to gut our crystals right now, so that way it's harder to get it. So that's kind of the overall thought. Also, Molly, how dare you? You spelled damn wrong. It's D-A-M. Anyways. I'm invisible once again, guys, and I apologize for that, but thank you guys so much for being here, and it has been fun. We are going to have our regularly scheduled stream tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do for Friday. We might move Friday's stream to Saturday. We'll kind of see. I am going to Fan X this weekend, and so, you know, this is my first convention. I want to spend as much time there as I can. I don't know how much time I'll actually spend there, but the first day, I know for a fact, all day Thursday, I'm going to be there. You know, we got the Hobbits coming. Anthony Daniels, guy who plays C-3PO's coming. Timothy Zahn, the guy who wrote the Thrawn trilogy, is going. Tons of people that I want to go see, so I'm very excited to go see it, but we'll see. We will have a stream for our Grand Arena regardless. It'll just kind of depend where we're doing it. Big thanks to, you know, all those who contribute to the Dam, as well as to our Dam Elite. We do have some special things coming for our Dam Elite, so keep an eye out. Big thanks to Farmstar being our Dam Sugar Daddy, as well as the Dam Best members, Joe Correa and Yoder. Regardless of whether you have this membership right now, we thank you for any and all support you've given the Beaver Dam, and you'll always have a home here on the end screen. Thank you guys so much.